Hello and welcome. My name is Sunny, and this is a demo video for my project REST API check. I'm testing request.in's REST API. You can actually click on these and get the response, status code, and the body using Hurl. Now this is based on curl curl and can be used to check basically most APIs. And this is command lines. So CI/CD integration is smooth. Now to clarify, I'm not sponsored by the developers of Hurl, or I'm not getting paid by them. This is just a demo video. I did try Bruno. Bruno looks and feels exactly like Postman, but the problem was I needed to store my variables in a separate file and have Bruno call or load that file up and use it. That cannot happen, unfortunately, on the open source or free version. That's only available in the golden edition, right here. And the best part about using Bruno was everything is on your hard drive. The configuration for Bruno, the configuration for your collection, your requests are actually here. See, create and login. So in that sense, Bruno was amazing. Hurl, what happened was it's a command line based and you have to use files, manually create files and write code in them. This is not exactly programming language, but it was really fun to do and teaches you a lot of stuff that potentially goes missing when you're using point and click. I will explain how to execute Hurl files and the various ways in which variables can be declared. So first, let's get started with the GET requests. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 GET requests, and all of these 7 requests use some form of fixed numbering. For example, list user, you have page equals 2. So page equals, this is your parameter for the API / users endpoint. You could say that 2 is your variable. Single user uses 2. Not found as the failed endpoint for single user is 23. Nothing. 2 here. And finally 3. So if you look at GET requests, at the very top of each of my request file except complex, I have mentioned how variables are defined. For a GET request, you can simply copy and paste this, and you're defining the variables in the command line itself while executing this file. See here, list users, single users, user not found, that's 3, list resource, 5, 6, and delayed 7 requests. Now on the structure of the files, you have the ping first right here, then you have status code check here, and any assertions or anything else, you have to define sections, and those sections are defined such as this. You have asserts here. So that means anything following this tag is just an assertion check. JSON path $.data count equal to 6. Now what does this mean? This means that the response body from get is JSON and we are specifying the path to a element, and that's data. Count means how many items are inside data. That means data is a collection or an object. It's not a single value variable like host or valid. It consists of multiple values, and the count for how many values are inside data is 6. So if we check list users, dollar means the entire response body, $.data, so we get to the data element and see square brackets. That means it's an array. So this array will have 6 objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and here it ends. So count is 6. That's how the assertion is checked here. Now, following in the same path, data.firstName, what does that mean? That means this is a new endpoint single user. So $.data.firstName should be Janet and last name should be Weaver. That's how the assertions are made for single user successful check. Now there are multiple ways of checking if the message body is empty or there is no message body, one of which is JSON path $is empty, and it's this endpoint, single user not found. See, there is nothing within the curly braces, so it's empty. The other one is right here. This is for single resource endpoint fail check. JSON path $is not equal to null. So right here, see, again, empty. So to execute the get request file, you have to append this string at the very top to the normal execution of a Hurl file. And the way you execute Hurl file is HURL --test and then the file name. So that would be get request.hurl. So to execute get request, it would be Hurl this entire string, copy and paste that, and we go --test and the file name. So if the file is within src folder, so src get request Hurl, press enter, and here we go. It easily prints out a small report for you that it was success, 7 requests were executed, how much duration, and which file was executed, that's actually mentioned here, and other information. This could be piped into SED or AWK to isolate this one keyword success and put into a CI/CD file so that if it ever mentions anything other than success, the software or the cloud repository can then simply email you telling you, oh hey, the API is failing. That's the integration path. Now on to post request. This is the second method by which variables can be defined, and this one is defining variables in a file as mentioned at the top, resources post.env, and they're defined in key equals value or variable equals value. There is no spacing between them. So host, body, valid email, password, invalid email, these are variable names. And http request.in, this entire string, eve.hold@request.in, pistol, these are all values. So you can put the entire body of a post request as a variable. That's possible. It's done right here for the first post request. Now in my get request, I was doing double equals. You didn't see anything using a predicate. Predicate means keywords like contains. So this is the create endpoint. You can actually check this right here. So create endpoint here. Now if we check, it says $.created at. So dollar the full body created at, and then it goes contains this string 2024, and that is correct. This entire thing has a substring or part of the string is 2024. So this passes. You can put the entire body in a variable, or you can construct the body as shown here yourself. See, your element is here and your variable is right here. There is another thing that could be done is exists. Now exists simply means that the error element is present within the body, and this is login unsuccessful right here. What this thing checks is $.error. That means the response body has an element named error. That's it. And it is present. That's how it works. So let's execute the post request, and that would be like so. We are taking the string from the top using that and putting it in the normal file execution. That's it. And we get a success. Now, request.end also has put, patch, and delete. I have placed put and patch in one request, and this is the other way by which variables can be defined. You can set them up as environment variables using these commands. So let's set that up first. Now, export is for Linux, set is for Windows. That's actually mentioned in my GitHub. See, use export for Linux and set for Windows. I'm escaping the quotation marks here. That's because of how command prompt or Windows works. This is done. And notice that I have not mentioned anything extra like for get request. There is this string, or for post, I've mentioned you have to append this. No, you don't have to do that. Once you have set the environment variables, just run this file as a normal HURL file. So that would be Hurl -test with patch request. That's it. And we get a success. Now, delete is the last endpoint available on request.in right here. It takes only one value, and that's, I think, the user ID. So the way that I've now created variables is in the same file as my assertions and ping. You can define variables in your request file itself, and this is the way to do it. You create a new tag or a section, options, and you define your variables with the variable keyword and the same style as post.env. Variable equals value. That's it. And like that, you can create as many variables as you want, and these variables are accessible in subsequent requests as well. I'll show you that in a bit. Let's execute this. Now, since variables are already defined and I have not mentioned anything special, that means you can run this like a normal HURL file. And here we go. That's a successful run. I've created a separate file complex that chains or links two requests one after the other. So you're getting variables in one request and using them in the subsequent request. Let me explain how this works. So we have the variables set up here. These are for the request itself. The host is taken from here for both. Now the endpoints that are in use are list users and single user. What I'm doing from list users is, so I'm getting the ID from the data element on page 1 and then getting the email as well. See, capture simply means we are taking values from the response body. Now we use the same style as an assertion. See, $.data of 1. Data is an array, remember, starting at count 0. So this is the second element of ID and then the email. Now in the second request, what we're doing is we are simply calling single user. Now this ID over here, 2, that is coming from our capture. See, user ID. And for the assertion, what we're doing is we're simply stating that $.data.email, this is the same from list users, the one we took earlier. That's the assertion. That's it. And since I have not mentioned any special instructions on top, this is to be executed the same as delete requests. And that will be hurl minus test src / complex dot hurl. Here we go. Another success. Now, to get an HTML report, what you can do is simply provide your test cases or provide the entire folder and append this section. As a demo, I have already executed that, but I'll show it to you. It's essentially this command. For example, I'm taking delete in complex, right? So if I run this, see, this is why I specified the file name is mentioned at the top. If you're running multiples, it showcases both. Once you have done that, your file will be generated in the reports folder. I already have it open right here. Let's refresh that. You can actually click on various components and get more details. For example, the delete one, this is a timeline of how each event took place. You can hover over it and get more details. And then again, it's clickable components. You can even click on this one, run, and it will show you the header information and a lot of other stuff as well. Well, that's it for my video. Thank you and have a good day. Bye.